Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back to my channel. And if you've never been here before, welcome, welcome, welcome. So happy to have you. I am so glad you decided to click on my video and stop by and say hello. You guys have no idea what it means to me. If you haven't noticed by now, guys, I got a new setup. I'm so excited. Mr. Hubby sat here and helped me fix my background, so now y'all don't have to see the nastiness that is my storage room in the background anymore. We got some twinkling lights, we got some a new lighting situation, and I am so happy with how it looks. I cannot tell you how happy I am. I am so happy. I just think it looks so much better. I think it looks just a little bit more YouTuber-ish than my setup before, and I feel so professional, guys. It just feels so professional. And I love it. This perfect time to reveal my new background is to also reveal a new series that I'm going to be doing once a week on my channel. And that is birds of a feather. So each week I'm going to pick a different bird and it's going to inspire an eye look. And I'm kind of excited about it. And you know, there's all kinds of things that we can do and all like other avenues that this can kind of run off into. But for right now, it's going to be birds of a feather. So this week, I picked it is a really beautiful parrot, and because I don't edit, there's no way that I can show you a picture of it other than to let you guys know to head on over to my Facebook page, Makeup for the Everyday Mama, and look at the inspiration picture there. I always post finished pictures over there on my Facebook page, and along with the finished pictures, I will post the inspiration picture so you guys can kind of see what I'm going off of. But this is what we're doing. Really, really beautiful. I love these colors. I love the way that everything just kind of blended together today, and it just meshed so beautifully. Please disregard my nails. They look like garbage, but I have every intention of trying to fix them after I get done filming if I don't pass out first. It has been a day. It has been a day and a half. Super busy in here all day. It snowed, so we've been outside playing all day. It's just been crazy time. So I haven't had much time to really focus on my nails, but that's totally okay because the eye is what's gonna steal the show. We're gonna be using two different palettes today. So I have one. So this is the W7 Mardi Gras palette. Guys, this is so good. This is such a great palette. I think I got this off of Amazon. I believe I paid like $12 or $13 for it. This is a dupe for the Stacey Marie Carnival Be Perfect palette. I think it's Carnival 3. This is what it looks like. The quality of the shadows in here are fantabulous. They're so good. There's just, and I just love the color story. You've got all these really beautiful purples and pinks, and then you've got peachy orange, yellow tones, and then you've got cooler green, blue tones. There's a color in here for everything. It's so beautiful. Spot on. And then also I'm going to be using, this is one of my newest palettes. I actually haven't filmed the haul on this yet. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see the haul. Are we still into hauls? Are hauls like a thing anymore? Anyway, let me know. But this is the Morphe 335S. This is the Sweet Oasis. This has made its rounds around Facebook already. Ooh, it blew out. That color is making me blow out. There's something to notice. Okay, so this is a really gorgeous palette. It's pinks and blues, and you've got some like cooler neutral tones. It's really gorgeous palette. Very pretty colors, and these colors right here are just, it was worth, I think I paid less than $10 for this palette, which is really nice. I think it was on sale for like $4.10 or $3.10. I don't know. I got it super cheap though, and I think that was worth paying just for these shades right here. Really super beautiful palette. So we're just gonna play with a couple of shades out of this one. We're gonna mostly focus on the W7 palette but that's what we're working with today. And I think we're ready to just kind of dive right into it. I'm hoping beyond hope that you guys are really enjoying the new setup. Please let me know what you think of the new background. I'm totally into it. I'm so digging it. I feel so much better about it. You guys don't have to see all that craziness and chaos behind me anymore. Just makes me so happy. So I already have my eyelids primed. I used my, what did I use today for eyeshadow primer? I used my Milani eyeshadow primer. Really great eyeshadow primer. Just a little bit of a tint to it, but it doesn't really have a whole lot of pigmentation. So it really just kind of goes on, slightly evens everything out, and then mattifies the eyelid. Gives it just a little bit of a tack for your shadows to really just kind of stick to your lid. Very minimal tack though. We're going to go right into the W7. I'm going to take a big fat fluffy brush. It's the first thing I always do. This is my Dew Color 02. And I'm going to go into the shade Identity, which is this really beautiful, very light pink shade. And oh no, I just gouged my palette. Don't you hate when that happens? So I'm just going to take my big fat fluffy brush and just take it right up underneath my eyebrow. I'm going to use this as my transition shade. I usually use more of like a neutral color, like a white or a skin tone for my transition, just to kind of give me a base to start working off of. But this color, this eye look, I want it to be super colorful. So I decided to go with a slight, like a very light baby pink color. And I'm just kind of buffing that all over my transition area, pretty much from right underneath my eyebrow all the way down to my crease. Just getting a nice lay down of that pigment. So that way we can go in and start adding our color, and it's just going to help us blend a little bit better later on. So that's done. Really beautiful baby pink color. I think it's so pretty. We're going to go into a different brush now, and we're going to do black. Usually I save the black shade for one of the last things I do to my eye, but for this eye look, I kind of wanted to build it backwards and start from the darkest and just kind of work my way out from the darkness and just kind of bring in light layers of light afterwards. So we're going to go into a slightly angled brush. This is going to be my Dew Color, this Dew Color 10. I love this for kind of laying down pigment in the outer corner because it's angled, and I feel like I can just really kind of work it in there. So I'm going to go into the shade Midnight in the W7 palette, and very gently, because this is a pretty impressive black. It is fairly pigmented. I'm going to take that and just start tapping it on my outer corner. Not going too much above my crease. I'm really just kind of tucking it into the crease. And I'm going to do a little bit of a half moon shape, like that. Just kind of tapping it on, starting at the very outer edge, and just kind of tapping my way into my eye, maybe going about a quarter of the way or a third of the way into my crease. And just bring it down onto my eyelid. Really focusing most of the pigmentation in the crease. I'm just kind of starting to build up a little bit of my depth. Now this is going to be a pretty in-depth tutorial. A lot of times when I do these videos, I'm just kind of talking and talking about a little bit of everything. But for this one, I want it to be a little bit more of like an in-depth tutorial, just in case you really just wanted to recreate this look. I really want to give you the best tools possible and the best visuals possible to actually be able to do that. I'm just tapping that into my crease, just going little bits at a time and just pressing it in until I get a really nice opaque layer of the dark black shadow. We are going to go over this with a purple, but this is just to give us just that little bit of extra depth right there in the corner. Thank you very much for coming. Now we're going to move into a separate brush. This is the Dew Color 02. It is very much like the first brush that I used to lay down the pigment. This is a nice big fat fluffy brush, the same brush, and I'm going to go into this matte purple shade. So this is called Van Dyke, or Van... I think that's Van Dyke. Van Dyke. So this matte deep purple shade. And I'm just going to get a good bit on the tip of my brush and start pouncing that out right over the black and making sure that I get just around it with a halo of purple. I'm going to go all the way around the black that I just laid down. And kind of blend that purple out from it, just like that. I'm going to transition into a smaller brush now. I'm going to go into one of those teeny tiny little crease brushes that I love so much. I'm going to take this and I'm going to dip into the purple again. I'm not worried about blending this too much right now. I'm really just focusing on getting the pigment laid down. Just like that. Now I've got it fanned out all around that black and it looks perfectly blended in together. So now I'm going to take a gradient of purple. So I'm going to take a couple different shades and mix them together. I'm going to take Crew and Mardi Gras. So this one and this one. These two shades, and I'm going to mix them together and use those to start blending out the purple and creating my final shape. Very, very gentle pressure, just going all around the darker purple. I don't want to take this all the way up to my eyebrow. And bring it in a little further. Into the socket of my eye. I'm aiming for a really, really nice winged out shape. We can always go back because we don't have any base makeup on yet, and we can always clean up this outer corner. So I'm not super worried about that. I'm just trying to kind of pack my color on and blend things out so everything looks like a really beautiful gradient. I'm going to make sure and keep in my crease as dark as I can, because we are going to do a cut crease. And in order for the cut crease to work, we have to have a nice deep crease, so it's got something to contrast with. And I'm just taking this in very, very teeny tiny buffing motions, and I keep dipping back into that Crew color just ever so slightly, and using that to blend out the deeper purple color. It's really just a process of back and forth, back and forth. It's one of those things that you just have to kind of get a feel for. and you'll figure it out as you're going. And a lot of it is up to personal preference as well. It depends on how well you want it to be blended. If you like a little bit more of that contrast, then you definitely do not have to blend it as much as I do. I am sure there are people out there who think that I overblend things, and I'm sure that they're right, but I just like it to be really, really beautifully gradiated. I like a really pretty gradient, guys. I just like it to really just flow. I like to call it my watercolor eye, because you don't really know where one color starts and the next one stops. And the wonderful thing about these purples is they're so not patchy at all, and they all work so well together that you can get that really pretty gradient without having to. Look at that. So pretty. And we're like halfway done already, just with that little bit. It is so, so gorgeous. I absolutely adore this palette. I love the color story. I probably would lose my mind if I ever got my hands on the original Carnival 3. I definitely wouldn't know what to do with myself. I 100% know that I would lose my freaking mind. But this one is so good. Like, I don't feel myself jonesing for it that much. I don't feel like I'm missing out on too awful much, just because this is such great quality. I just, chef's kiss. So, so good. So that's what we're looking like so far. We've got all this beautiful depth built up on our outer corner, and then we have this really beautiful rim of this like smoky electric purple. That is so, so pretty. We are gonna try and make this line as neat as we can, because we're not gonna go back and reblend that later. So just keep that in mind as you're blending. That's why I do such tiny amounts at a time, is because you can always add, and it's so much harder to take shadow off of your lid once you've put it there than it is to just add little bits at a time until you're satisfied. But I am very, very satisfied with that for the moment. So we're going to say thank you, W7. We will see you in just a moment. We're going to put that to the side, and now we're going to go in to the Morphe palette. So we're going to use this color first. This is called Infinity Pool. It's a really, it's a really beautiful, kind of deep turquoise color. It's a very, very kind of like mid-tone, but because these colors are so light, this is going to look deep in comparison. So we're going to take that just on the same brush. I'm going to kind of wipe it off on my towel first and get most of that darker pigment off. And we're just going to dip right into Infinity Pool. And I'm going to start this in my actual crease. Just kind of taking it right through. And because blue and purple are so close to each other on the color wheel, these are going to actually blend in to each other really easily, which is going to do nothing but make our lives even better, because we're not going to have to sit here blending for forever. I'm just going to put that deeper turquoise blue color in my crease just to deepen it a little bit, taking very, very tiny amounts at a time. And I'm really just kind of keeping this right in my crease, not going too much higher, just keeping it tucked into my crease and blending it into the purple as we go. And then on this same brush, because this is our multitasker today, we're going to go into Sail Away. So that's this one right here. Really beautiful, vivid, bright turquoise blue. And again, just teeny tiny amounts at a time. We're going to put this right above it. Little bits at a time. Kind of tucking that into our inner corner. Small circular buffing motions. Just to kind of get it on and like get it blended in. So it looks like it's nice and meshed with everything we've got going on already. And that's it. I told you it was going to be super easy. If you wanted to take it a step further, I would go on a smaller flat detail brush, and you could definitely go into Snorkel Sash and mix a little bit of that with this color right here, which is Island Hop. These are, this one is a shimmer, this is a matte. Do very tiny amounts of each of those colors and just take that right through here just to bring a little more light to the party. Just like that, just to kind of help open the eye up a little bit. I think it is so pretty. I'm gonna go back into that cheapy brush and use a little bit more of that magenta color in the W7 palette. I want to use, let's use beads. So let's use this one right here. And I just kind of want to tap that right up through here, just to help kind of brighten it up a little bit. I feel like it wasn't as bright as I wanted it to be. And just kind of help fade it into that blue a little bit more. Try to get these there we go. I'm gonna do a little bit more blue. It's a lot of back and forth, especially when you're doing the eyes separate from each other. It's a little bit more difficult to get them to look as similarly as they would if you were just doing them both at the same time, because you're going back and forth, you're going back into something. But I think that looks really good. I think we look really even. So pretty. And now it's time to cut the crease. One of my absolute favorite parts. It is going to bring this entire look together in no time. In no time at all. Let me check the sides of my mouth and make sure that my lipstick is not trying to migrate on me. I tell you what, that annoys me more than anything in the world, is like pre-watching my videos before I post, because I don't edit or anything, but I do like pre-watch and make sure that I haven't done or said anything too stupid before I post a video. And sometimes, not a lot, but sometimes I'll see stuff in the corner of my mouth and I'll be like, wipe your mouth, wipe your mouth. Irritates. I irritate myself. You ever irritate yourself like that? I swear I just want to slap myself sometimes. So let's go back into the W7 palette. Before we do that, we're going to take a little bit of concealer. This is my absolute favorite cut crease concealer. This is the Can't Stop Won't Stop by NYX. Perfect cut crease concealer. You put this down and as soon as it dries, y'all, it doesn't go anywhere. It stays exactly where you put it. I love the color. It's really nice white. It's got kind of like a pinky undertone to it, so it looks like my skin. But it's super pale, super fair shade, and it works perfectly as a cut crease concealer. I'm going to take my concealer brush. This is my Dew Color 05. It's just a concealer brush. I love this brush for doing my cut creases because it's nice and stiff, but it's got like a really precise edge to it. It's really nice. I'm going to go with the natural crease, and I'm just going to take it till about here. I'm going to take a Q-tip first though, and put a little micellar water on it and kind of clean up a little bit of that darker pigment that's on my lid, because we're using such a light green color. Usually I don't do this step, but because the green we're going to use is so light, I really want to make sure and give it the best chance I can to really, really shine. So I'm just going to take a Q-tip and clean up just a little bit of my crease. That looks good. Did I wipe it on my shirt? I tell you what, I'll put stuff on the back of my hand and forget I have it there, and I will look down at my shirt and it will be everywhere. Happens to me every single time. It is the most annoying, frustrating thing, and I can't get mad at anybody but myself because I'm the one that does it. And I'm just gonna start tapping this. Directly into my crease. I like to do my outline first and then kind of pull it down. I find that I make fewer mistakes that way. And I get a much cleaner line. If I kind of just press it in first and then pull it down. And then I also get a much smoother laydown of the actual concealer. Just like that. And kind of bring it in. Just like that. Now I'm going to take a clean finger and I'm going to tap on the outer edge of that concealer just to blur it slightly so the line of demarcation isn't quite so stark, just to kind of blend it a little bit. And then I'm going to take a stiff. I will say that the color I'm about to use is not my favorite shade in this palette. It is actually my least favorite shade in this palette. And the only reason it's my least favorite shade is because it just doesn't work very well. It's just not, it's a lot harder than all of the other shades. I'm going to go into the shade Acid. It's this really beautiful, vibrant, like toxic sludge green right here. I'm going to take this very, very stiff, flat packing brush, and I'm just going to really go to town and get a ton of this pigment on my brush and start pressing it into that concealer. It's just, you guys see how much, you saw how much product I had. It's just not very pigmented. This shade is the only shade in this palette that I was disappointed with. Everything else has worked so beautifully. It's just the shade is garbage. It is not very good at all. But I love the color. So we're gonna make it work. But if you were thinking about buying this palette for that color, honey child, you can do better. You can do better, mamas, because this is not where it's at. If you could see the sheer amount of product that I am putting on my brush just to get this little bit of payoff, if you could see how hard I am digging in to this pan to try to get some pigment off. Like, it would will and truly blow your mind, I believe. I have so much fallout. It just doesn't want to stick for some reason. Like, it would not stick to my eye if I didn't have concealer on first. Like, this is kind of one of those shades that you have to use over concealer or a sticky bite base, or it's just not gonna work for you. I am making sure that I pack this on in a very dense, even, very opaque layer. I don't want any of that concealer poking through when I'm done. And I'm making sure that I get it all the way up to the very edge of that concealer as well. I don't want any pieces of white sticking out when I'm done. Now, I know that took just a little while, but look at that color. Look at that color. I just can't be mad about it because the color is so freaking pretty. It's just so freaking pretty. I have a ton of fallout underneath my eye, so I'm just going to wipe that away. Don't have to worry about it sticking to my face because it just doesn't like to stick to anything. And then that's pretty much it. We're going to take the same brush that we just used, and we're going to go into the shade Shamrock now. So this really pretty Shamrock green color. And I'm going to use this. This is much better quality, so you don't need a ton of this. I'm just gently patting my brush into there. And I'm going to take this on the very outer edge and just wiggle my brush back and forth, to help get a little bit of a fade going on. I am not going to bring this very far into my eye. I'm just using it to help our transition just a little bit. And it does work stunningly for that. It looks like a very beautiful deep rich emerald green, but it's not. It's still light and bright enough to where it blends in with the more neon green in such a way as that it doesn't overpower it. Just kind of fades very gently. So pretty. Let's work on our inner corner now. For the inner corner, I'm going to take that same brush I used for the blue. This is from the Morphe Madison Beer collaboration. I don't think that this brush has a number on it, but it is just a very small, fine detail packing brush. And I'm going to mix two colors. So I'm going to mix the color Tahitian Pearl with the color Zesty. Zesty is another one of those that's just, it's just not very good. It's hard panned as well. There's something about the greens in this palette that are just not very well made. And usually I've had good experience with greens, but these have not been my favorite. So I'm going to mix this color Zesty and with this color Tahitian Pearl. Both of these shimmers are very pretty. The Tahitian Pearl has got more of that actual shimmer quality, whereas the Zesty just has that slight green tint that I'm looking for. And I'm going to take this on my inner corner and bring it along my lower lash line, just a scotch. Just kind of painting that on. I'm going to dip a little bit more into Tahitian Pearl. Kind of place that on top for the glow. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Bring it along my lower lash line. Just a little bit. Just like that. So pretty. Let's do a little bit of a liner situation. I'm going to do a very thin line of liquid black eyeliner. Thank you so much for coming. We love you so much. We will see you one more time before the video is over. We're going to move you for just a minute right now though. And we're going to do some liner. It has quickly become one of my absolute favorite liquid liners, period. This is the NYX Epic Wear Waterproof Liquid Liner, just in the shade Black Metal. It's not matte, so it does have a little bit of a shine to it. That tends not to bother me too awful much. I mean, unless I'm going for like a wing. And then of course I would want a matte liner so it would look more opaque. But for this application, I find that this is just, it just adds a little bit of shimmer. It adds a little bit of depth and darkness, and that's really all I need from it. But it's so easy to use. It dries down and it doesn't move. It doesn't migrate. It doesn't go anywhere. It's waterproof, so my very, very watery, runny eyes do not mess with the formula. It's fantastic. I'm going to take this and do just a very tiny line. For my inner. To my outer corner. Just a little line. It's just going to help my lashes look fuller. I am happy with that. Just like that. That's pretty. Let's do a little bit thicker on the outer corner. Pretty. And then for the waterline, for the upper waterline, we're going to use the Milani Supreme Kohl Kajal eyeliner. I love this stuff. It goes on so creamy. It is super, super intense. Very, very black. Do you love the faces you make while you're doing your makeup? So much fun. And then for the bottom line, we're going to do another NYX liner. This is the NYX Epic Wear Liner Stick, but this is in the shade Turquoise Storm. You want to talk about an absolutely gorgeous turquoise liner? So creamy, so pigmented, super, super bright in the waterline. Goes on so easily. It's just a beautiful color. They dry down and they don't move. They don't go anywhere, which is fantastic. You guys know, I know I've said this a million times, but I have super, super watery eyes. So anything waterproof around my eyes does nothing but good things for me. And then to address our lower lash line, we're going to take a very, like, any kind of angled brush you have will work. I'm going to use my Juno & Co. one. This is the ES09. So just a small angled brush. I'm going to go back into the W7 palette, and I'm going to go into that matte deep purple. And I'm just going to take this right along my waterline, starting at my outer corner. Just taking it along my lash line. I know I said my waterline, but I very much meant my lash line. Making sure to connect my corner. Keeping it pretty close to my lash line. Not bringing it all the way in either. I'm just going to take it for about 2/3 of the way through my eye. And then I'm going to take a fluffier brush. Let's use, what brush did I use? Let's use my Moda crease brush. And we'll go into beads. So this really beautiful, bright magenta color here. And we'll just start blending that out. And connecting. little tiny bits at a time, and keeping it much closer to our lash line, the closer we get to our inner corner. Really beautiful, very smoky, kind of wrapped in that beautiful magenta color. And then of course we'll take a Q-tip and kind of clean up, makeup wipe and kind of clean up this outer edge just a little bit, but it looks pretty clean right now. I am so happy with how this comes out. Sometimes I'll sit here and I'll have the most beautiful eye look done, right? And I'll sit down to film and I just can't get it. I can't get it to look the way that I want it to look, or I can't get the two eyes the same, or whatever. I did the eyeliner on this one too thick, but that's totally okay. I'll just go back into this one and fix it and it'll be fine. Still looks good. This eyeliner is just thicker than that one. It's always something. It's always something, but I'm totally okay with it because I think it's still very, very pretty. I love it. I did do the liner thicker on this one though. Okay, so let's talk about brow bone highlight. We're going to do the same thing that we did for the inner corner. We're just not going to go so heavy on the green pigment. So I'm just going to take a little tiny bit of the green pigment, but mostly Tahitian Pearl. And I'm just going to run this right up underneath the arch of my brow. Not doing a ton of it, because this is pretty much an all matte eye look, but just to bring that little bit of light back to the situation. And also it's going to help to soften this line even further because it's going to refract the light and make it look softer anyway. So it's really doing you nothing but favors, but it is super, super pretty. I love, 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 love this Tahitian Pearl color. I think it's so pretty. And there's that little bit of green to tie it in. So pretty. Let's take a makeup wipe now. I use the Simply Simple makeup wipes. They are, yeah, just the simple kind to skin cleansing wipes. These are the ones I use. They're cruelty free, which is always a good thing. I'm just gonna take and clean up any fallout that I might have. Clean up the bottom edge of my lower lash line. Clean up my outer edge just a little bit. And it looks so much better. We've got that really beautiful, nicely rounded shape. It's got that kind of like wing uplifted effect that I think is so, so pretty. I am in love with this eye look. I think it is so absolutely stunning. And if you just use it to kind of clean up a little bit of fallout, and there's basically an entire baby wipe left, I usually just kind of fold it back up and put it back in here and use it again next time, because these things are not cheap. And I feel bad about, you know, throwing a barely used makeup wipe in the trash. So I just reuse your makeup wipes. I mean, once they dry out, they're kind of trash. But if you use them, y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. Anyway. What do we think? Do we like it? Do we love it? I'm going to curl my lash. I am not going to force you guys to watch me put my mascara on because this video is 45 minutes long already. And nobody needs to see that. I will talk to you about what I have on my lips before I leave you. I am using the Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lipstick in the shade Jeffree What the Duck. Place the D with an F and you guys know what I'm saying. I'm trying to be family friendly here. So, but this is what she looks like. Absolutely stunning. I will say though, this has migrated on me quite a bit. It keeps wanting to move to my outer corners, and I don't know if that's, I can definitely tell that it has. I've only had this on for about an hour now. I put this on for maybe, I had 20 minutes before I started filming. So yeah, about an hour. And it has definitely moved from the inside of my lips, and that's what's migrating to the outer corners. It looks still very, very pretty. It was beautiful to put on. Super easy to apply. It wasn't patchy. It wasn't streaky. It's a very comfortable liquid lipstick, matte liquid lipstick. Sorry, it's a very comfortable liquid lipstick. I think it looks absolutely stunning. I will say it's probably not the longest wearing liquid lipstick I've ever used on myself. For you, it might be very, very different. But for me, it does want to migrate to my outer corners quite a bit. I'm not mad at it, though. I think it's still very, very pretty. This is the finished look. I feel pretty. I feel like a tropical bird. Please make sure to go check out my Facebook page and look at the inspiration picture and let me know how I did. Did I interpret it well? Do you like it? Do you love it? Would you wear it? Let me know. I love you so, so much, guys. I know your time is precious, and I am so thankful that you choose to spend it with me. I absolutely love making these videos, and I absolutely love hanging out with you guys. I really, really hope to see all of you guys over on my next live on Facebook. I go live on Facebook once or twice a week. I really tried to go live as often as I can, just so I can really interact with you guys as much as possible. As always, no filters, no edits, no fancy lighting. It's just me sitting in front of my camera, doing my makeup, hoping you guys are enjoying what I'm doing. Guys, I love you so, so much. I will have everything that I used today in the description box below, so be sure to check that out. I also have a link to my Facebook page, just in case. And yeah, that's about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave. It would mean the absolute world to me. Stay safe, take care of yourselves, and remember, you're important. Bye.